Alright, I wanted to do a little video on these on how to install the height sensors on a Dodge Challenger. It's an extremely tedious task if you're not really sure where they go and how long the rods need to be. I've had Airlift on my car for sheesh, over 3 years. I couldn't get the height rods or the height sensors right for 3H. So I bought some of the brackets from Airlift, or excuse me, I bought them from Universal Air in San Bernardino. I cut them, and here's the front one. When I first started out years ago, when I tried to put these on myself, I installed the air system myself. I learned it wasn't that difficult. There's little problems if you don't know what you're doing, but I handled it. No problems since the 3 years of installing it, though, after I had a few months of problems. But the rod is the key and where you connect it to your car. This is what I did, because I already did the other side, so now I know it's in proper range, which makes me super happy. And what I did was I sanded this area down and I put Bondo, because the height sensor where it mounts goes a little higher and there's no body right here. So what I did was I sanded it and put Bondo and made it look like this, and I repainted it. Came out pretty good. I mean, you could see that there was Bondo right there. It's kind of hard to get in the crevices, but it came out good. On the other side, it came out really good as well, and it worked. Like I said, it's done on the other side. And I wanted to show you guys, for a Dodge Challenger, which is really hard, you need to figure out where you're going to put that rod and connect it with the bottom bolt. And on the front, I had it down here where we can see this hole, but there's a hole right here. I put a hole in there. It worked kind of, but it didn't work. And I'm using Velcro, and the Velcro I'm using is industrial strength. This stuff is amazing. It's not like your normal, you can't just buy it at the store. But I used to work for a vending machine company for many years, and I would install credit cards inside vending machines, and we'd put these on there, and they were a bitch to get off. I mean, they come together, and they're just, it's almost like glue. No joke. It's just amazing. It really is. You guys want to buy some? $5 for 2. And it takes, I forget how many it takes. I'll say. But I'm going to put Velcro from here to here, all the way down to about right here to there, so that I can slide them up and down wherever it needs to be. But I believe it's going to go about right here like the other side, and bring the bar down to right here where the hole is. And it came out really well on the other side. I just did it. This is a tedious task. If you overthink it, it's horrible. But you just have to have the rods the right size, and where you connect it, and enough space up here. I couldn't find any videos on a Dodge Challenger on how to put 3H height sensors on. So I hope this helps somebody out. So right now I'm going to clean the surface with some degreaser and then put the Velcro on. I'm going to use this to clean it, and a rag. I'm just going to clean it really well, so the Velcro can stick and be there forever. Once you figure out where things go, it's easy peasy. But I probably worked on this thing, honestly, about 3 months over the past 3 years trying to get these on, and I just could not get it. It was just super frustrating. I thought, fuck these things, I'm gonna sell them. But thank goodness I didn't. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that I figured out the trick. But putting this Bondo right here, repainting it, sanding it, it's a tight squeeze. I left the bag on and did the work. It can be done if you're determined, and that's the only way you're going to get things like these done, is if you're determined to figure it out. Okay, I got it all clean. I'm going to let it air dry too. I did re-wipe it down to wipe off the excess, if there's any residue at all, but I'm going to let it dry just cause, and then start with the Velcro. I do got to trim the Velcro a little bit, but pretty easy. Here's the Velcro again. Okay, I trim it like this, so it'll fit like this. Like that. Boom. Alright, I got the first one in. Now I'm just going to go down with it. For the next one, I'm just going to use the full piece. I don't have to cut it or anything. Just butt it up against there and put it down. Okay, the second piece is in. Now I'm going to put one right here at the bottom just in case. Not that I need it, but I want to cover this hole so that dust doesn't get behind this little gap right here. Behind here where it's sticky. Just to be safe. Looking good, looking good. I did put Velcro behind here, so when I put it on, boop. So now, I am going to match up to put some to cover this hole right here and cut it. Alright, I got my platform on. Looks pretty good. I might get hated on for using Velcro, but I don't give a shit. I had my other height sensors, or when I had it on before, I had a smaller platform and I didn't have Bondo put right here. It was just like right here. The front would match up fine, but the back was the problem. So I did a better thing where I could raise it higher and get it just right. And I know that the Velcro works with it because the height sensors didn't calibrate because of the rear, so I just left them on. They were on for years. They never came off of this Velcro. Never. The only problem I had was with the rear, where the car raised really high. Like, look, if you're changing the tire, look at that gap. And I have universal airbags, universal air airbags from San Bernardino, I believe it is. And this gap right here, like changing the tire, it would dislocate the Velcro in the rear. But I did it on the other side. Like I said, I did it, and I got it to figure out where it's going to line up and things are going to work. I started off with Velcro in the back. It didn't work because this gap right here was killing me. I put Velcro right here, and I know it's going to work because that's what I did on the other side. And then I put the bracket inside right here, and the Velcro sticks right here, and the arm sits down. And instead of hooking it the rod to my old camber arms, I'm gonna hook it to this, and it should work. And it really matters where you put this rod, on the first hole, second hole, or third hole. It's basically test and relocate, test and relocate. And like I said, I did do the Bondo right here. I should have videotaped it, but I didn't think I was going to make a video on this. I looked for weeks and weeks and months and a year on how to install 3H height sensors on a Dodge Challenger. There is none. So this would be the first of this kind. But I should have, like I said, I should have videotaped it, but I didn't. But this is gonna work, I can almost guarantee you. The other side seems fine. When I jack up the car to change the tire, in the rear it would rip the fucking sensor off. And if you have it bolted up, it's gonna break the sensor. I didn't want that. I started off as a mock-up just to see what it would be like and then bolt them down. I'm not gonna bolt them down. I'm gonna leave the Velcro because I know it works. This stuff is fucking amazing. Like I said, if you guys want to buy some, 2 strips, $5, hit me up. Okay, so I got the bolt down in there. The nut right there, I'm gonna tighten it in. And you can see I got free range right here, so I can go up and down. And you can see that this has the most biggest clearance that it's going to have, and I have plenty of room to move it if I need to. This is probably going to be about right. I might need to lift it up just a little bit, but we'll see. It's got to just be in range. That's about as far as the range is going to go. The center of this piece right here has to go down right here on this corner right here. It can't go past that. That's where the height sensor goes out of range. And this little tooth, like a turtle tooth, baby turtle tooth, has to be always be pointing down right here where the sensor connects to the wiring. Okay, I got the wire run connected. I'm just going to put this little hoop wire connector right here to stabilize it. I got it going in right here. Maybe right there. Okay, I got it down. Got to make sure the wires aren't going to be hitting this. This isn't hitting anything either, which it's not. I know that because I had it on there before, but I just needed more room with Velcro space, and now I got it. And this looks good right here. This might even be where it was, just like a simple guess. And I'll know by putting the wheel back on, letting the car down, and see if this sits halfway to where basically it's almost ride height. And then lower the car and see if it, what is it? I think it's the maximum would be about right there for it to swing. So from there to right there, that's where the range is. This is 120 degrees, and then inside I guess is so many degrees, and right here is where it's at right now. It's at 120 degrees. That's the limit right there. And I can jack the car up basically what it is now and change the tire or whatever, and it's not going to yank this off because it's in the right spot. If you don't have it in the right spot, it's going to yank this thing right off. And if you have it bolted up, it's going to break the sensor. You don't want to do that. You want to keep what you have. Mock it up if you want to. You can use regular Velcro too, I believe. But how are you going to drill holes in there without taking out the airbag and everything else to put those in bolted up? I don't know how many times I've taken these off for other reasons. I don't want to do that. And if you bolt it in, there's going to be holes in your body. And if it's not right, you're screwed. You have holes all in your body. You're going to have hole marks everywhere. Velcro. Woo-hoo. So the front's done. I'm going to go do the rear now. And with the Velcro, when you lower the car, you can stick your hands in between the wheel and move your sensor, versus if it's bolted up, you can't do anything. I don't want to take the wheel off. I want to put the wheel on right now and then lower the car and see where it's at. I just want to show the clearance. For universal airbags, they give you a lot of clearance. If you want to change a tire, you're going to lift it, right? But this will rip the sensor off if the rod is not big enough. I had them chopped, and it was just, they would rip them off right away. But I'd rather have them with Velcro than with nuts and bolts, so it would rip the fucking sensor and break it. Here's where I had the rod. The first time I had cut in it because it seemed too big. It's probably like this. So that's about two and a half inches that I'd cut it off. I'm going to keep the rod as it is. And in the rear, get you some of these. This is what's going to clamp onto, I guess it's a sway bar on the rear. These are only for the rear. The front didn't need it. But I put, in order to make it work, I put a heat shrink on there, a little bit on there, just to grip it more. You could probably use electrical tape, but whatever you want to do. But this is going to clamp on there and connect to this onto the sway bar right here. I'll show you right now. Okay, got the wheel off the ground, but look at this gap. That's huge. And this is because I don't have Airlift strut and bags. I'm using my stock shocks or struts, whatever you want to call them, and universal airbags. Universal airbags. Okay, here we go. Here's my Velcro. This piece I told you about, you can get these at Lowe's, like $3 for 2 of them. I believe it's a half inch. These are half inch. Slide it on here. On the other side, I got it about right here, I'd say. And here's universal airbags. A stock strut or shock. I got adjustable camera arms, Godspeed, and BMR tow rods because I have 22-inch wheels. Alright, I'm going to get on this. Start off by taking that off from right here so you can get behind here. And I mentioned you got to get the sensor with this little tooth. See that tooth right there? It's always got to face where the connector is, always. And I have the rod on the first one, but it's no good there. It's less swing of motion, so I'm going to put it on the third one, farthest. Just stretch it a little bit. That's what I have on the driver's side. Okay, it's going to go about right there, you can see. But I want it to be a little bit more down, basically. So I think I will push this up a little bit so that it's hanging down, because this is the point where when it's raised up, it's going to be this way. But you can see where it's going to sit with that one part I showed you with this. Boop. Okay, and I lied. I got mixed up. I put shrink wrap around this one so it would grip better because it was a little loose, but this was for the front and I didn't wind up using them in the front. It was too short connecting it to these in the front. So this one is just a 1/2 inch without shrink wrap. It's just the way it is when you buy it from Lowe's. Don't shrink wrap any of these. You're not going to need it. This one's a lot bigger than the one in the front, so it's going to go on there nice and snug. Alright, we got a washer, black little spacer, and another washer between the spacer, and then we're going to put a washer on the outside and the nut. And I just noticed that this was rubbing right here, this bolt, but it's because you have to turn this that way a little bit. If you have this turned this way, like literally going straight down like right here, it's going to rub. It turns the angle of this. So I turned it a little bit. You can see that it's at an angle. See, it's like more at like 7 o'clock right here, right there, and it fixed that problem. I was going to cut this bolt, but I don't need to. You can see there's clearance now, plenty. And I left these on. I put these on so that I could see the degree of angle that it's at. You can always rip those off. It's not a big deal. I really don't give a shit. Okay, it's on. This is on nice and tight. I might put some tape right here just in case. Some electrical tape so it doesn't slide. Not that it will, but I just want to make sure. I'm going to connect the wiring. Like I mentioned before, I did have these connected to the stock camber arms, but they would rip them off. It wasn't right. So with no drilling or anything, $3 for 2 of these at Lowe's, a 1/2 inch. You want to get the 1/2 inch. They have bigger ones, I think are 2 inches, whatever. They only have 2 sizes that I saw at Lowe's. But get you 2 of these for $3 that go in the back. And then the ones in the front, I thought I needed these, but it didn't work out with this. So I just put it back to the original bottom piece where I drilled a hole in part of the suspension, and it worked. So just making sure that you know that. This is for the rear, only the rear 1/2 inch. Rubber clamps, metal with rubber around it to hold tight. Okay, it's on. I did put a little bit of a ring tape right here and a ring of tape right here to stop it from sliding if it wanted to. I don't think it's gonna because it's on tight, but you never know. You can't even see it. So, all right, I'm gonna put the wheel back on. I'm gonna leave this out for right now, just in case I gotta move it up or down once I lower the car completely. I'm gonna lower it now. Off the jack anyways. Okay, so I got my car squatted. Everything looks to be pretty good. The front one I might need to lift up a little bit. Just maybe like 1/4 of an inch to get it right, but I think for the most part, guessing it might be okay. I'm gonna calibrate it now. Here we go. Vehicle level surface, yes. Front wheel straight, indeed. Vehicle wheels free of obstruction, indeed. Alpha mounted, yes. Do you have 1 or 2 compressors? We got deuce. no stance guard. You have height sensors, yes. Calibrate. Auto. I'm ready. Let's see what happens. Checking the front first. Gauge checking the rear. See the last part of it. I think it needs to build up air pressure. Let me check. Still going. I don't think I've ever gotten this far in the past couple of years trying to do this. The shit goes high with universal airbags, but I like it to make sure I clear everything. Again, it was low on air. Wow, it's never done this. Let me see if it's done. Alright, I'm happy to say that it passed calibration finally. Took some time. I shortened the video up a bit. It's such a long video. Sorry about that, but this is definitely going to help somebody trying to install these height sensors. Like and subscribe. I got a bunch of stuff on Challengers. Check out my channel. And hopefully this helps somebody out. I don't think there's any videos like this one on Challengers. On other cars there is, but not on a Challenger. But I'm proud to say it worked. Calibration was done.